Our next guest is actually not going to stand here and talk to us too much. We're going to sit and we're going to have a little bit of a conversation. But first, she'll do a little bit of introduction to herself. So let me introduce her to you. Our next guest has definitely had to rethink her way of working. We are all aware of the current situation in the Ukraine, and with increasing instability around the world, whether that's security, whether that's health, or whether that's financially, we are having to adapt the way we're living. Veronika is someone who's had to adapt. Her life, her work, she's currently in a situation that most of us can't possibly imagine. She is like me, she's a UX designer, but our stories are very, very different over the last 2 years. So we are honoured to have her here as a guest to share with us her experiences and her colleagues' experiences and how she's had to redesign and rethink how she works today. So, firstly, I'd like to introduce Veronika Chaban, UX designer from Raiffeisen Bank in Kyiv in the Ukraine, to do a little bit of an introduction to her work at the moment. Thank you.
Hello. Great to see you all. Yeah, so I'm Veronika Chaban. Nice to see you all, and really thank you for inviting me here. I work in Raiffeisen Bank as a lead UX designer, and basically about my experience in UX design. I started as a brand designer actually, and discovered for myself UI UX design 7 years ago. And I was so fascinated with the design because design, you can apply it to every field, and especially UX design. And as we look around in every object that's surrounding us, a television, a sound system, laptops, etc., they all created with the design and with the designers. And this really fascinating me, and how you can evolve and create the products which are like moving us forward to the future. And as for Raiffeisen Bank during the war, we are now facing these 2 years of war, almost 2 years. And this is the basic numbers for January and September. Like for the first months, we thought that the situation will be really bad. And a lot of our coworkers was really afraid that we will be fired and everything will be really, really bad. But still, during this almost 2 years, we achieved really great results. Like we have for now, for this January and September 23rd, we have almost 3 million bank clients. 99,000 of new clients, which we're moving forward and gaining almost 5% of new active users each year. And we get a net profit 6.2 billion of hryvnias. It's in hryvnias, unfortunately. And 28% of a net income gross. So pretty great results, I think, for the company that facing the war, and for the other companies which are still staying, and all of our competitors and other companies, they are also evolving. And digitalization, which we was faced during the COVID, helped us a lot, really, really a lot. Because with the COVID, when the COVID started, we started to be more digital, and we started to think how to create an account in a digital way for the banking app, how to do everything in a digital way. And we were a bit prepared for a war, and also the basic number for our employees. We have 5,300 employees in Ukrainian branch, and 300 of them work from other countries, because during the war, like first 6 months, a lot of our employers and the people and citizens and Ukrainians was relocated from occupied countries and from occupied cities, I'm sorry, from cities under occupation and which was heavily striked with missile attacks. And so it's basically 40% of our co-workers and employees are temporarily relocated due to war. 175 defending our country now in armed forces in Ukraine, and 10 of them are already working as veterans, so they are back to work. Yeah, this is, and the small highlights of an app that I'm working and our team are working in Ukraine. We are in RBI, we have different departments, different countries, and each country has a bit different app, but we still need to, we have global guidelines and the design system which we need to stick on, and that's also everyday challenge for us because our market, Ukrainian market, is a bit different. It's more digitalized, and we have, I think, more challenges in our RBI system with mobile devices and applications. So this is just a highlight of the screen that we released during the war, and also the second challenge was to release an application during the war, because we had one application that we wanted to change and before the war, and we were stuck with this during the war. But we achieved great results, and it's already live, and we're working on that. Thank you.
Cool. So, thank you very much, Veronika, for that little introduction to us. And thank you, Thomas, for the water. I'll take that. So, as a little bit of an introduction, a starter for us, could you give us a little bit of an impression of what your work life, a normal day would look like for you at work before the war?
Yeah, so normal day was more, we worked from the office, from our main office in Kyiv. I live in Kyiv, and currently I moved back in Kyiv. So my day was like an ordinary day as you have. You take a coffee while you're driving to work or taking a taxi to work, and you greeting your colleagues, starting your day slowly, and then you do your daily meetings, going through the day with the daily meetings to co-designs, etc., and interviewing the users or designing the application, and then you're back to your home, to your friends, to your family, to your cats. I have 2 cats, really great, and miss them all the time. I'm traveling. And yeah, basically ordinary day that we have day by day.
Sounds pretty normal. And then obviously, as we're all aware, the 24th of February 2022, everything changed. From a work perspective, what was the immediate impact?
Yeah, the immediate impact was a bit quite shock to all of us, and we cannot believe that this is happening. And the first call was from my sister. She was telling, like, they started to bombing us. The shelter are not working. I cannot find the shelter, and I was like, what? I live near the Kyiv, in a smaller city, and it was super silent. It was 4 a.m. of the morning, and I couldn't believe, like, what's happening. Maybe you have a panic attack. Let's just breathe it out and everything. And then, bam! Like in a minute, they started to bombing us, and then everything changed. And first challenge is that you, as a family, are separated, because our father lives like on the left side of the Kyiv, grandma also on the left side of the Kyiv. we are located on the right side of the Kyiv, and then you immediately need to think where you need to go. And a lot of people, I don't know why, we all thought that we need to go out from the Kyiv, and it will be more secure to stay around in the smaller cities. But it was like a trap for a lot of people, and better to stay in the cities, like bigger cities. It's more can be defended in more different ways. And of course, yeah, when a lot of people move out, flew the country, or a lot of, like my boyfriend mother, she was occupied in occupied Chernihiv during this first months of the war, and we were like, there was no connection with her, and we were super worried, and like every day we just prayed that everything is okay. So the main challenge is like you separated as a family, you like want to be together in such a moment, but yeah, it's a main challenge.
And then with your colleagues, how could you maintain contact? I mean,
yeah. The second thing, which is really fascinating and also interesting, that with all of my colleagues, and we always stayed connected, and I think the work and challenges that we had to help our co-workers in the occupied cities, and it just helped us stay connected and work. Just put us through this mental state of the first months of the war, and really helped us to cope with this mental state. So work really helped us, and we always stayed connected and worked on different challenges to help our occupied colleagues, how to help users, maybe release some other products which will help users, interview users through the interviewing users. We tried to help them out also and speak through all the situation, and like just to support each other as a interviewer and a user. Our colleagues, we had the daily meetings, weekly meetings, and it's also helped a lot to stay together, to talk through a lot of things, and just like that.
And you touched on your team there. So how is your design team working now?
Yeah, for now we work as a fully remote distributed team, and also, as I said previously, COVID helped us a lot. We started from the COVID to be more remote, and now as a design team, and all of you know that can work from different regions, different countries, location. We're mostly nomads, and that's helped us a lot. For now, we have like daily meetings on a daily basis, when we like sharing our tasks through the day, or weekly tasks, and we have co-designs, which also this practice helped us a lot. For example, our process looks like each of our designer from designer team attached to feature, to separate feature like onboarding, C2C, transfers, dashboard, etc. And each of our designers work on this feature, and sometimes our passes are like we are interconnected in some points, and we discussing these interconnection points together, challenging each other, how we can connect this feature to that, how we can use design system, because we have this design system, which are unified design systems through all our branches around the Europe. And also it gives us a lot of challenge to align it with our markets, align our application. So these co-designs are solving that problem really well, and I really recommend to do that like on a weekly basis. And the other thing that we have in each Friday, we have weekly, and this is more like for tasks that you are struggling with, or you can exchange your experience. For example, new designers which we are onboarding through our processes, they can ask any question. And also the half of this weekly is more about like just chatting in really warm atmosphere and sharing the daily routines or weekly or what you have seen, where you've been, etc. So, or also it's for workshops for team building. Also the great feature to have these workshops in a weekly basis. It's like a small things that you keep you closer with your team and helping you to know each other better and be more as a one team together.
I just want to give out a quick reminder. If you've got any questions, please feel free to use the Menti link and send them through. That would be super cool. So going back to the bank, the actual work bit, what are the main challenges that the bank face during the war?
Yeah, so the main challenges was to relocate our co-workers and help them out. For example, from the occupied cities, and there was a small period of the time where it was nuclear threatening, and also we were all of us was warned about that, and the people who was close to that area that can be affected, they was warned that they need to relocate, and to create all the to put all the services, our bank services, in to the digital way, to digitalize these services that we are giving as a bank to our clients. Also, COVID helped us a lot and do the half of the work, and digitalize the HR services that we provide to our employees, especially a lot of workshops and psychology sessions, and more concentration on the mental health, because war creates a different kind of mental issues with our employers and myself. I also struggling a bit with insomnia, post-war PTSD, insomnia, and so also bank helps us a lot with that, and that make the process of creating an account, so digitalize this process of creating an account, so you can easily in one click create an account in like 10 or 20 minutes. Also, we created web branches, virtual branches, that help our clients to go through different tasks, which, for example, if we have a blackout or some period without a light or power, the clients can like go to power banking branches which are working like to help with electricity. You can charge their phones, do your like financial tasks, immediate financial tasks that you need to do. And also the challenge was for this blackout period to transfer our systems to the cloud, to AVC cloud, was kind of challenge. And the main challenge from the product side was to create product during the war, to release, to keep stick to the plan with releases and development, and also introduce researches and testing. So
Okay.
kind of this.
So quite nicely, that links on to some questions from the audience. What kind of new products did you introduce to help people during the war?
Yeah, it's actually was a small product for our co-workers, not for, unfortunately, not for all Ukrainians. It was a small product which helped to like guide people through the basic steps if you need to be relocated, the contact info, the guidance, how you can be relocated where, and how you can solve all these problems. So this was just some kind of website product which are answers on your questions, directing you to the team that's supporting you, and give you all the overview about like places where you can relocate it, what you can do if you have no connection, what can you do if you are stuck in an occupied country or a city, etc.
Okay, nice. When so when you're working now and you're designing new products, or iterating on your new products, do you have a certain methodology, a process in place where how you conduct your? What does a user research session look like, and how do you, design these products?
Yeah, actually, we are stick to design thinking process, but the main staple points of our design process is blueprint, testing, interviewing, CJM, and research. And also we have, during this year, we added the single usability metric, like it's called SUM. Single usability metric is like holding all this metric that you measure during the testing, like error rate, the time duration of the test, or a task completion, etc. And this is just one metric that helps you out to prove your prototypes, or see the difference between prototypes, which prototypes are getting along with users, they are reacting in better way, and this metrics helps us a lot as designers to move forward in development, and to pick in the best option for our users, not just to listening them and measuring the error rate or time duration separately, but in general as a one metric it works well.
Okay. And then obviously when you're running research sessions, when you're conducting meetings, workshops with your colleagues, with users, you're in a little bit of a different situation to what we are here. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges that you're facing daily with these challenges?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's really interesting theme, because we still need to do the workshops and user testing and interviews. We do it really, really a lot of them with stakeholders, with the users, and as we all mostly live in Ukraine, and our users are Ukrainians, and they live in Ukraine and staying mainly there. We have the air alarms and sirens, and also missiles attacks. During the interview, we can be interrupted, but we try to ask users if he or she in a safe place. Should he or she change the place to go to the shelter, etc. For example, in our offices, we have parking and shelters where we can just go down and continue our meetings if we are all located in the office. But as for our team, they mostly work remotely, and some of them can be at home or in some cafes, and it can take time for you to go to shelter to check the nearest shelters to you, and it can just affect your interviews a bit, but we still rescheduling it, or a lot of users just saying, no, I'm in a safe place, I'm okay with that, we can continue. And that's kind of challenge that we're facing all on a daily basis, but it still works well.
Sounds like you're constantly adapting.
So the adaptation is our main word for these 2 years.
Yeah.
And the human is a really interesting creature because we can adapt to different things. And if you can relate, you can remember the COVID times when we were firstly shocked, really shocked, like we will die. And then we started to adapt, started to create new products, to think in a different ways. Same, we are facing this challenge again. And we also don't want to surrender, and we need to survive, and so we must adapt. And a lot of our products, and we in Raiffeisen Bank, my colleagues, we all trying to adapt and become like create different creative solutions. For example, a lot of our colleagues and all of our Ukrainians donating on a daily basis. Like you, for example, have a coffee routine. You can drink a few cups of coffee during the day, and our people telling like donate your coffee cup to volunteers and give like our future the chance to live.
So this one, I'm going to throw this at you. We didn't discuss this earlier, sorry. But yourself as a designer and your design team, is there one thing or a couple of things that you are really proud of that you've achieved over this last few years?
As a design team?
Either a design team or yourself, both?
I think we are become more like the wholesome design team, and we are also working we can work as a fully distributed team. I think it's a really great challenge. Remotely distributed team is a great challenge that we achieved. That we, even if we have some like missile attacks or some challenges with the sleep or etc., we still are stick to our schedule and checking our tasks and doing our tasks really great. And I think the sum was really great thing that we achieved this year because it's helped us a lot to measure the client and customer experiences. And the third thing that we achieved as a team, that we started to be more oriented on the service design and to look at our services and all the process on the client path as a service designer, and also through the multi-channel prism of that services. So you have different kind of channels, like a physical, like a web, and application, and it's like a wholesome experience that your client are going through, and it's really important if you're developing the application to think through about these channels to different challenges, how your customer team communicates, how your operation center communicates, how your branches looks like, how your branches manager communicates and helping out to client. It's really important even if you're just developing the application. So that's a challenge that we achieved through that year and hopefully we'll get through.
I've got a question from the audience regarding how have your customers' needs changed?
Yeah, it's became more, so our customer become more digital, so they demand everything, every service to be digital. And a lot of our competitors are also moving to that direction. For example, for European market, it will be more like Revolut. So it's fully digital, and you can create card, create account in the bank fully digitally online, and get the card if you want the physical card, but still you don't need the physical card. You have the virtual card, and all these virtual services like insurance, car insurance, credits, deposits, everything is needed to be for our clients now online. They want to do everything online. So that's how it changed, but during the COVID, it started to go through this way, and we're moving further to like wholesome online experience, but still with human touch, because it's really important for our users.
I've got a comment here. It's not a question, so but a comment here from one of the members of the audience. It just says, listening to you talk about familiar topics in such horrific circumstances is heartbreaking. So thank you very much for sharing your experience. It's impressively strong.
Thank you
So,
for
thank you
thank
for
you
sharing.
for support. Really, thank you.
But before I let you go, I do have one last question. If you have one last thought, one piece of advice as a designer that you'd like to share with us in this room today, what would that be?
So get to know your client more. I think observe a wholesome path, as I told it previously, like from the service designer perspective, every step of your client and every services that you give to your client. Concentrate and measure things, because measure and analytics and the numbers is super important for you. Measure everything and take your final solutions under circumstances of measuring things on the with the numbers, and I think apply a lot of things that are acceptable now, like AI and generative art and ChatGPT in your work life and workflow. It really helps a lot. So, yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. Could we have a wonderful, warm round of applause for Veronika Chaban?
Thank you. Thank you very much.